When you first receive your traps kit, it should be packaged in 2 boxes consisting of one smaller box and one larger 25kg box. The large box should contain 6 metal tubes for the stand, 5 L-arms, 2 cymbal boom arms, a kick pedal, a hi-hat pedal with stand feet, the top section of the hi-hat stand, a bag with 2 rubber strips and a drum key, a kick beater, a snare basket, 4 rubber feet, 2 small clamps, 10 large clamps, small, medium and large tom pads, a snare pad and a kick pad. The small box should contain 2 cymbal pads, 1 hi-hat pad, a bag of cables, a hi-hat switch, bag of cable ties and 2 cymbal mounts, a power supply and the main module. Take the 2 small tubes with no plastic on the ends, 2 large clamps and the 4 feet. Slide 1 clamp onto the centre of each tube and attach 1 foot onto each end. The spare opening of the clamp should point upwards as shown in the video. Use one of the drum keys to tighten the clamp so that they are firm but can still slide, as this will allow you to make adjustments later. Take the 2 upright tubes with keys on the end. On one of these tubes, slide 3 large clamps. On the second, slide 2 large clamps, followed by a small clamp, and then put a final large clamp on the end and tighten all clamps with the key as before. Your assembled upright tubes should look like this. You should have 1 large and 1 small tube left, as well as 2 large and 1 small clamp. Take the small tube and attach the small clamp centrally as before. Take the large tube with the Traps logo on and attach the 2 remaining large clamps to it, 1 at each end as shown. Take the 2 tubes with the feet attached and the 2 upright tubes. Place the upright tube with 4 clamps on into the open clamp on the left hand side. Place the upright tube with 3 clamps on into the open clamp on the right hand side. Tighten the clamps on the bottom so that the upright tubes feel sturdy. Take the large tube with the Traps logo and place it into the clamps at the top of each upright as shown. Make sure that the Traps label is pointing forward, the bar is as close to the top of the upright as possible on each side, and the clamps on the large bar are angled forwards and upwards by an angle of around 45 degrees. Fit the short tube into the second clamp down on the left upright and push it as high up as it will go. Angle the short tube forwards and to the left of the kit by around 45 degrees again. Take the 5 L-arms and fit 1 into each empty large clamp. Position the 2 on the crossbar so that they face backwards, the 2 lower ones so that they face directly upwards, and the central one so that it faces forwards and centrally at a slight angle like this. Again, do not fully tighten them yet so that they can be adjusted later. Take the 2 boom arms and slide 1 onto the top of each upright. You can tighten them with the keys on each upright, but it is again best to leave them fairly loose at this point. The stand is now assembled, so it is time to assemble the rest of the kit. Take the bass pad and slide it downwards onto the 2 L-arms in the centre of the stand. Use the keys on the bass drum to tighten it so that it is secure. Adjust the clamps on the lower part of the upright so that the bass drum is just above the floor, and tighten the clamps to hold it firmly in position. Take the snare basket and slot it into the small clamp on the left hand upright, as shown. Adjust it so that the basket faces upwards and is tilted slightly forwards, and tighten it when it is in a suitable position. Open the basket clamp so that the snare fits in with the Traps logo nearest to the left upright. Twist the mechanism at the bottom of the snare basket until it clamps the snare pad in securely. Take the small tom and slide it onto the left hand L-arm on the crossbar. Take the medium tom and slide it onto the right hand L-arm on the crossbar. Adjust each one and the clamps holding the L-arms so that the toms don't obscure each other and are tilted at a natural angle. These toms should stick out towards the back of the drum kit more than they do at the front. Slide the large tom onto the last empty L-arm. Adjust the clamp on the upright until it's at a comfortable height. Also, adjust the clamp on the left hand side that is holding the snare basket to a comfortable height. Tighten all clamps so that the stand and all the pads are held securely. Take the Traps drum module and slide it onto the final empty clamp, and then tighten the small clamp so that the module is secure and in the correct position. Also, tighten the small clamp that is holding the tube with the module so that the whole kit is now completely sturdy. Take the bottom of the hi-hat stand and open it out so that it stands by itself. Squeeze the two metal prongs together underneath the hi-hat pedal and release them so that the ends of the prongs fit into the holes on the black metal structure between the feet of the stand. The pedal should now sit in place at the bottom of the stand. Take the thin silver rod and screw it into the gold rod opening inside the upright tube of the hi-hat stand base. Take the outer tubing of the main section of the hi-hat stand and notice that it has a small overhanging section near its base. Make sure that this is pointing down and place the tube over the rod and into the hi-hat base as shown in the video. Take the hi-hat switch and place it over the rod and tubing until it sits securely. Place the hi-hat pad over the rod. Place your foot gently on the hi-hat pedal so that it is slightly pressed, and tighten the wing nut above the hi-hat pad so that the pad is held in place. This ensures that the pad can move up and down. Open out the cymbal boom arms so that the ends with the black material on are where you want the cymbals to be positioned. Exact positioning will be a personal preference, although it is a good idea to make sure that the metal rods on the other ends of the boom stands will not interfere with your drumming. Unscrew the plastic wing nuts on each cymbal boom arm and remove the material. Take the cymbal mounts and place one on the top of each cymbal boom arm. Ensure that you slide it down as far as it will go on the boom arm, and that the slope design is angled so that it will rock the cymbal pad in the correct way when hit. Once the mount is positioned correctly, use a drum key to tighten it securely. Place the cymbal pad over the top of the boom arm so that it rests on the cymbal mount. Take the material section that you removed earlier and split it in half. Take one half of the material and place it over the boom stand so that it sits on top of the cymbal pad. You do not need the other half of the material or the plastic attachment. Take the plastic wing nut and screw it onto the boom arm on top of the material so that the cymbal pad is held firm but still has room to rock. Take the bass drum pedal and squeeze the silver prongs so that they slot into the holes on each side of the upright kick pedal frame. Next, loosen the spring mechanism on the right side of the kick pedal. You do this by unscrewing the silver knob underneath the spring. Turn the pivot mechanism so that the chain wraps over the curved side and sits in the groove. Ensure that the protruding metal part on the side of the pivot mechanism is facing down, as shown in the video. Pull the spring up and over the protruding part of the pivot mechanism so that it sits in the shallow groove. Tighten the knob at the bottom of the spring so that everything is held in place. Take the kick beater and slide it into the hole on the pedal's pivot mechanism. Position the kick pedal so that it's facing the kick pad. The pedal has a clamp that fits over the small ledge at the bottom of the kick pad. Use the wing nut on the kick drum pedal to close the clamp so that it attaches firmly to the kick drum pad. Use the cables to attach each pad to the main module. They are all labelled and colour coded, so it should be simple to see what goes where. If there is any confusion, use the pad selection buttons on the front of the module to work out which drum is which. If you just have the standard E500 kit, you should be left with the cables for Tom 4 and Crash 2. These connections can be used to extend your kit with additional purchases. Also, don't worry if you're left over with 2 rubber strips. These may be included, but they're not for use with the E500 kit. Use the included cable ties to tidy everything up and you're ready to go.